New Super Mario Bros. This game sparked quite the interesting sub-series of 2D Mario games for a while there. It was initially a grand return for the 2D Mario series. We hadn't seen an original 2D Mario game since Super Mario Land 2, which was 14 years before this game came out. So it had been a while, and there was a lot of hype around it. It sold really, really well. However, over time, as more new Super Mario games came out, they kind of all gained the same reputation of just being the same game. I mean, it's easy to see why. A lot of the new Super Mario games, they reuse the same level assets, the same themes, the same music and boss fights. The new Super Mario games, collectively, are all really similar games. But the original New Super Mario Bros. I think actually brings a lot more new to the table. It introduced the 3D moveset that we saw in Super Mario 64, but in a 2D game for the first time. And it also brought with it a bunch of new level ideas, new world themes, power-ups. This game actually can hold its own, I think. I find it kind of unfair to clump this game with the rest of the new Super Mario series when we're talking about the series being really bland and generic. Like, yeah, those games are all very similar, but I think the DS entry is actually really unique and has a bunch of stuff still exclusive to it. So let's revisit New Super Mario Bros. And see if it holds up these days. At E3 2004, Nintendo shows off their new handheld, the DS. Tons of games were shown alongside the system, many of which showing the new 3D capability of the handheld. You got Mario 64, Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, Metroid, the list goes on. It was overall a really good showcase for what the system could do. However, Nintendo had a few 2D games at the show as well, one of which being a new 2D Mario game, which was interesting to see. This was the first time we'd seen an original 2D Mario since the Game Boy days. Nintendo mainly focused on re-releases like the Super Mario Advance series, so to see a completely new original game was really exciting. The demo shows the Mega Mushroom, some early level assets and enemies. It's nothing crazy, but it was still cool to see. New Super Mario Bros. Then released in May of 2006 for the Nintendo DS, and it sold incredibly well, selling over 30 million copies. The game released nearby the DS Lite. With that model, Nintendo really focused on casual players, both those new to video games and those who played games back in the day. And with New Super Mario Bros. Appealing to both of those audiences, it made the game an essential pickup alongside other casual games like Nintendogs and Brain Training. But does it hold up years later? Firing up the game, we're greeted with the title screen and... yeah, that sure is a story. To be fair, you don't need a deep storyline for a Mario game, but this is as basic as Mario plots get. Pretty interesting Bowser Jr. is our main guy to go after though, I guess that's different. There's even a neat reference to Mario Sunshine in the game's manual. All the world maps are laid out in a left or right path, nothing too shocking to see. There are a few branching paths that can be unlocked by finding the secret exit in a stage or by spending the new star coins. These lead to various types of toad houses or additional levels. These toad houses are nothing special, basically just featuring small mini-games to win items, but they're pretty inoffensive. This is all stuff done in previous games, however they're done really well here and it feels like a fresh take on the formula. Now hopping into an actual level, it feels like 2D Mario, it feels like how you'd expect it to. It controls like the classic games, but now Mario has all his moves from the 3D entries, including the wall jump, triple jump, and ground pound. These moves go a long way in modernizing 2D Mario. They feel so natural and fun, and in my opinion, it makes the older games feel ancient in comparison. Playing through 1-1 is pretty familiar, nothing crazy, until we get the Mega Mushroom. Which, hey, I guess that's my cue to talk about the power-ups we have on display here. Of course, there's your standard Mushroom, 1-Up, Fire Flower, and Star. However, New Super Mario Bros. Introduces 3 new power-ups. As shown earlier, we have the Mega Mushroom, the main power-up on display here. You grow huge and just trample through the stage. As a kid, destroying everything in your path felt powerful, but now, honestly, it just feels a bit insulting to use this power-up. You just destroy all the level design, it feels a bit soulless. This was clearly added just to appeal to kids. To be honest, I kinda preferred how it demoed at E3 as it showed enemies being able to use it, but here it's just a massive gimmick to add to the list of selling points. Now on the complete opposite side of power-ups, we have the Mini Mushroom. I actually do like this one. It's not my favorite or anything, but it allows Mario to access hidden star coins and secret exits. In fact, this power-up is required to unlock Worlds 4 and 7. You defeat the boss in World 2 and 5 as Mini Mario. I like that they did it for this one game here. If they made half the series do it, it would be far more annoying, but just having it in this game, I don't mind it. Lastly, we have the blue shell, and this is definitely a top power-up for me. It's so cool, Mario can slide in his shell to break walls, defeat enemies, he can swim easier, it's truly the all-in-one power-up. Now I do get why some may not like it, Mario automatically going into the shell can definitely be annoying, and it could have been fixed by designating a button to entering the shell, but otherwise, this is a really solid, unique power-up. I also think it's cool that this power-up isn't easily obtainable. You can only get it in a mushroom house or a red question block. It just adds to this item feeling more special and fun when you actually do get it. Visually, I'd say this new Super Mario game looks the most distinct out of the entire series, largely due to the mix of 2D sprites and 3D models. Every game following this looks painfully similar. They all use the exact same character models, level assets, enemy designs. However, here in the DS entry, things look a bit more unique. Although I will say, and this may be because we saw literally every theme from DS return in the forthcoming games, but I kinda preferred the themes and backgrounds from earlier in development. They give the game more of a unique approach with some more interesting themes, however the ones featured in the final game are fine enough. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes, the main levels featured across the 8 worlds in the game. The level themes themselves may be a bit basic, but New Super Mario Bros. Crafts some extremely creative levels within them. Let's take a look. World 1 is pretty simple, all things considered, with the first 2 levels designed specifically to welcome old players back into the series with its very familiar layouts. Now each world contains a tower level about halfway through, with each one ending with a Bowser Jr. showdown and... that was pathetic. I get these games are meant to be more welcoming and easier to newcomers, but my god, having this lame Bowser Jr. fight in every single tower level with next to no differences is painfully underwhelming. Although I will say in some of the fights he does have his mask on and throws shells at you. It's something, I guess. World 1's boss is a neat throwback to the original Bowser fights from Super Mario Bros. It may be painfully easy and is literally identical to those classic fights, but it's World 1, this stuff is forgivable. World 2 is your usual desert theme, however here is where the level design starts to get wacky. You got unique sewer levels, levels where you use switches to change terrain, sky levels with piranhas, a return to these guys from Mario 3, it's all pretty banging stuff. The end castle here is pretty sick too, with it taking place outside the castle. I like that the game occasionally breaks the regular 2D Mario formula, it keeps things fresh. World 2 also brings with it our introduction to unique bosses. Yeah, the Bowser Jr. fights may be lame as hell, but having unique bosses at the end of each world more than makes up for that. World 2's boss isn't anything crazy mechanically, it's basically just a game of whack-a-mole, but it's really fun and as Mini Mario it does pose a decent challenge. Overall, World 1 and 2 have been a fantastic return for the 2D Mario series, which can only mean World 3 is even better. This is lame. It's not bad, but the majority of levels here are just basic water stages without a ton going on. If you want actual tropical levels, you've gotta shell out star coins for that. Even the boss fight here is a bit underwhelming. It is better than Bowser Jr., however, it's probably my least favourite of the original bosses. It's a shame because the interior levels are pretty good here, the ghost house and final castle are a lot of fun, I just would have liked to see more actual beach themed levels. Now World 4 is our first unlockable world obtained by beating World 2's castle as Mini Mario. A poison jungle theme is kind of new to 2D Mario. I mean, you had the Forest of Illusion in Super Mario World, but here the level themes are much different. These levels are awesome. Using unique enemies like scuttlebugs and riding Dory through a poisonous lake makes for a very enjoyable world to play through. The boss here is pretty neat too. It may just be a giant Goomba, but it's a pretty cool callback to the early development footage of the game. World 5 may just be my favourite of the entire game. As a profound winter hater, snow themes in Mario games generally never appealed to me, but man, these are some good, solid, well-designed levels. We have enemies throwing snowballs, a level with bouncing mushrooms, even the castle with its conveyor belt is a fun time. And PD Piranha as a boss fight is awesome and actually does put up a decent challenge, especially as Mini Mario. Now after the high that was World 5, I couldn't wait to see what World 6 had to offer, especially with it being another brand new theme to 2D Mario, that being a rocky mountain. And after playing through the world, I can confirm the rumours, this world is just okay. It's definitely my favourite theme of the game, however it just lacks the creative momentum World 5 had. The pacing is so on-off and this wall climbing mechanic honestly just gets annoying after a while. Shout out to the only actual beach level in this game though. It's a bit weird this is here and not in World 3, but I'll take it. However, this world's shortcomings are all forgiven when we get to the boss fight, military grade Monty Mole. This is awesome, having a tank with multiple barrels shooting out bullet bills and going crazy when you hit it. It's easily the best boss fight in the game and possibly all of 2D Mario. World 7 is alright, just nothing too impressive, the levels are still a bit on the basic side. It's just a lot of floating platform stages and grass stages that honestly belong in World 1. Also, the castle just being these snake block levels is not interesting. Now, it does have a few redeeming factors. The ghost house here is fun, and this Mario 3 inspired pipe level is nice to see. Also, let's not forget Electrified Lactu here as a boss fight. That's really cool. But overall, this world is just pretty underwhelming and all over the place in terms of quality. That just leaves World 8, which I think has the highest highs, but also the lowest lows of the game. Easiest example, 8-8. This is an incredible stage where you're avoiding rocks from an eruptive volcano. However, it's then followed up by another snake block stage, which is lame as hell. But then that is followed up by the final castle, which is awesome. Flipping the stage upside down to access new areas is such a cool idea and is a ton of fun to play through. The fights against Bowser Jr. are whatever, as per usual, however the introduction of Dry Bowser is pretty neat. And then for the final boss, the grand finale, what every stage in the game has been leading up to. It's just Bowser and Bowser Jr. thrown together. It's not interesting or difficult at all, and it's kind of an anticlimactic way to cap off the game. Overall though, I'd say World 8 is solid fun, especially the latter half of the stages. And that was New Super Mario Bros. There's multiplayer too. Link up with DS Download Play to experience what Nintendo describes as a wireless face-off between Mario and Luigi. This mode is insane fun, with levels designed specifically for it. It may not be anything crazy, it's just grabbing stars, but it's competitive enough to be a great time with another player. And hey, while we're here, we may as well talk about the minigames. These are really nice to have. Most of them are just simple, high-score based time wasters, but they're so much fun and they use the touchscreen in really unique ways. And of course, you can't forget about those Luigi gambling minigames. Most of them are ripped straight from Super Mario 64 DS, however here they're available from the very start, most of which featuring full multiplayer too. It's for sure the definitive way to play these. And that was New Super Mario Bros. Does it hold up? I'd say so. It's still got a ton of stuff unique to it. It's got the bosses, the multiplayer, various level ideas which are only found in this game. I'd forgotten just how much this game modernized the series. You know, having those 3D moves really did help push the series forwards. The older games, they feel like old games. This game still feels like it could hold up today. Worlds 3 and 7 may be a bit bland, but it clearly excels in other areas of the game, and I think overall this game has really solid level design. It's nothing crazy, it's not the most, insane game out there, but it is really fun and I think deserves to be considered a classic in the Mario series. Overall, I think this game needs the credit it deserves. It really did push the 2D Mario series forwards and can still hold up on its own as a classic fun Mario game. It's not going to be the last time I play it.